Welcome back to Miss Clark Reads to You. We are finishing up with Blues Ain't No Mockingbird, and we are at the point in the story where Granddaddy has just told Smiling Man and Cameraman, "You're standing in Mrs. Flowerbed." In other words, you best get off our property. And right before that, we just got an interesting tidbit of information from the narrator. She says, we figure any minute, something in my back tells me, any minute now, Granny gonna bust through that screen with something in her hand and murder on her mind. So this is the effect. This is an effect that this character has on the narrator. She gets so nervous about Granny's behavior towards other people who invade her privacy, who get all up in her business, that she can feel the tension in her back. You know, maybe you've had this experience before. Someone has upset you so much, okay, that you let it affect you mentally, not just mentally, but physically. But then how about when you can tell your parents are upset, or in this case, grandparents are upset, and you start to sweat because you know the consequences are coming. And Granny clearly has displayed before a fit of rage. And so this comes from Granny's thinking. So if I'm going to fill in my steel chart, what my character says, thinks, effect on others, actions, and looks to show she's the boss lady, sorry, I'm out of the picture for a moment, then I'm going to say that she thinks, okay? She thinks people in other people's business is absolutely unacceptable, okay? And she shows that by the story she tells about the man committing suicide, and the photographer taking that as an opportune moment to get a great story. Her actions, it's interesting that here's this woman who is so adamant about her privacy, her private life, but she's making Christmas cakes to sell over at the church fair. I'll have to double check that fact. To give this to charity. I'm going to double check that fact. Now, she says two things that really clearly speak boss lady to me. Your mama and I are not related. You are not going to talk to me like that on my property, especially. Now, she has every right to say that, one, because she's an elder and she deserves respect, but two, this is her property. So you know what a boss is? A boss is someone who owns the business. A boss is someone who tells other people what to do because it's theirs. It's their company. They have the company's interest in mind. Get those persons out my flower bed. Boss lady. She's telling other people, not just the cameraman, but her husband, what to do. And, you know, but here's this granddaddy, very composed. Even when he kills the flying hawk who's come in to rescue his mate. And how about looks? You know, you can see how she holds the screen door open at first, then she lets it slam later. So all of this is evidence that we're putting in our chart to show her, she rules the roost. She is a woman who runs the show. She is a person to be reckoned with. Don't mess with Granny. All right, we're at the last couple of paragraphs. Let's see how this ends. The two men look at Granddaddy, then at each other, then back at the mess, the camera in the cameraman's chest, and they just back off. One saying over and over, all the way down to the meadow, "Watch it, Bruno. Keep your fingers off the film." Because they want to preserve the film. What they just caught on camera, that's good stuff for their documentary. So don't touch the film. Then Granddaddy picks up the hammer and jams it into the oilskin pockets. He scrapes his boots and he goes into the house. And you can hear the squish of his boots heading through the house. Now I'm thinking here in my mind, the effect that Granny has on me. What is she gonna say? Is she gonna continue to get angry? Or has Granddaddy sort of put her at ease? Did he take care of it well enough for her? And you can see the funny shadow he throws from the parlor window onto the ground by the string bean patch. The hammer dragging the pocket of the oilskin out so Granddaddy looked even wider. Granny was humming now. High, not low and grumbling. And she was doing the cakes again. You could smell the molasses from the rum. This is the story I'm gonna write one day, says Kathy, dreamer, about the proper use of the hammer. Can I be in it? Tyrone says with his hand up like it was a matter of first come, first served. Perhaps, says Kathy, climbing onto the tire to pump us up. If you there and ready. And that is the end. It's a very interesting ending that here is the narrator telling this story because she was there and she was ready to tell her tale about Granny and Granddaddy taking down the trespassers. And Kathy says, I think I want to tell a story about how to use a hammer. I saw how, Granddaddy used the hammer, and I want to write a story about hammers, and maybe you'll be there. And it's the innocence of, this ends with an innocence of childhood. Life just goes back to normal, playing on the tire swing, Granny singing over her cakes, Granddaddy cleaning up the mess from the hunting, the string beans are growing, and here are these cameramen mumbling off, hoping they can save what they caught on film. There's a couple critical thinking questions I want you to reflect on. And one is a simple question. How do the Hawks resemble Granny and Granddaddy? Here's Granny. Her property is being messed with. Her privacy is being messed with. These men aren't listening to her, telling them they don't belong on the property. Give her some respect. And in swoops Granddaddy. And crushes and rips apart the camera. I'll show you. And then the men know. We're not going to mess around this place anymore. Let's get going. So that those hawks are purposely put in this story as a symbol of having your best friends back. Granddaddy and Granny been together a long time. They're besties. And he's got her back. Just like the male hawk has the female hawk's back. Even if he can't save her, he's still going to attempt it. And then the last one is, if you were to pursue a career as a reporter, or photographer, what could you learn from this story that you could apply to your own work? Is there ever a time when it's not acceptable to come in as a reporter and snapshot a person's life and expose it to the world? I mean, we see this. We see people just with their cameras. They take their cameras out and they record things that are happening in other people's lives, and then they put them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, as without much thought. So, but if you were doing it as a career, this is their career, these men, is there ever a time when you would see a story as respecting someone's privacy so you're not bringing your cameras there, that you would need a formal invite? I'd be interested to see what you had to say about that in a discussion. I'm so glad that you joined me. And now you have plenty of good stuff to take notes on. And I am so excited to read to you again. And I look forward to doing that. And I'm so happy that you joined me. I am thinking about you and wishing you good health and happiness. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.